So a report's coming out saying that the New York Knicks are interested in Jonas Valanciunas, and if they were to do a deal for the Lithuanian big man who's on the Wizards making about like not little over $9 million, it would be Mitchell Robinson, 2 second-round picks, as they would save over $5 million in salary cap, and they'd get a big. And I think if the Knicks did this trade, it's because Mitchell Robinson isn't coming back this season. But as of right now, they're targeting that he's going to return to full strength by February. But it is seeming like worst case scenario, maybe a package of Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson with some second-round picks for Jonas Valanciunas. As again, like I said, I think it is. If this is being, reported, it's because the Knicks are fearful that Mitchell Robinson won't be available. And I know the fear is that Jonas Valanciunas, he's a liability in mismatches. He's got concrete feet. He's going to be exposed. He's not going to address the defense, but he is a great passer. He is a huge man, like 7 foot, near 300 pounds, good passer, and a starting level player at his position. And this report is coming from Ian Begley of SNY. But Jonas Valanciunas is a name to keep an eye on if the Knicks elect to move on from Mitchell Robinson, assuming that the injury is just not going to recover in time to make a comeback this year. And the whole reason they've kept him this far is in hopes that he would return. Now, Jonas Valanciunas is averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds in 20 minutes a night. So there is in the realms of possibility that they can get the 32-year-old who's on a 3-year, $30.3 million deal. And from my understanding is that the only players that, if they were just trying to trade Jericho Sims and not Mitchell Robinson, as you guys will see later in the video that I'll include, is that the only way they can go ahead and get themselves a player for Jericho that's better is Duop Reath with the Portland Trail Blazers. He makes like $50,000 less. There's Carlo Matkovic, who makes like $1 million left on the UN Pelicans. And then outside of that, I'm trying to think who was the other guy that we threw up there. Oh, Alex Lynn, hypothetically, but you would have to include Cameron Payne. And finally, Carlo Matkovic, Portland Trail Blazers. Yeah, there's really not any other serviceable bigs that would be worth them going out. So let me hear your thoughts. The rest of the video is going to be about the Jericho Sims.
Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're talking about a report coming from Stefan Bondy saying that the Knicks are trying to move Jericho Sims, which is something that, if you've been watching Knicks basketball, is pretty evident. So go check out his report right there. He's saying that who was removed from the lineup and is currently inactive due to back spasms is being shopped ahead of the deadline. He is an expiring contract. So Jericho Sims has officially entered the trade block for the Knicks. And as reported by Stefan Bondy, they're going to be shopping him as over the seasons under Tom Thibodeau, his role has diminished. And once thought as a guy who could develop into a reliable interior presence, lob threat off the bench, he saw his playing time drop to 11 minutes a night in a year where they needed front court help. He just couldn't contribute. 2 points, 4 rebounds, and his declining production coincides, again, as I said, with Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson being out and Karl-Anthony Towns needing some help. And with the Knicks being able to trade Sims' expiring $2.09 million contract, they'll have to take less money in return, which limits their options. So what is Jericho Sims' value moving forward as a guy who his numbers this season aren't going to leap off the page, nor are they going to leap off in terms of his career stats, but still, he's a guy in 170 games, 4 rebounds, half a block, 14 minutes a night, 73% from the field. Offensively, he's going to do what he does pretty efficiently, grab some rebounds, provide some lob threats, put back, rim running. He's not the best at it, he's not as, you wish he would be a lot more aggressive. I don't want to call him soft, but he's not as physical as you would like for someone with his athleticism and with his size and frame. Additionally, he's not as athletic and long as he is. He's not a great rim protector. He only occasionally provides some rim protection, and I wish his motor or hustle was a lot more willing to play physical defense, as he's a guy who could be a switchable big. And at 26 and 14, the Knicks are positioned to be title contenders. They're ranked third in the Eastern Conference. They're one of two teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers, to hopefully knock off the defending champions Boston Celtics. And to maintain that competitive edge, they're going to need to build up the depth that they gave up to get Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, etc., etc. And Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging 25 and 14, and obviously we know Mitchell Robinson's still out, but with their limited financial flexibility, because of the first apron, the Knicks are going to have to explore several trades. So here's the first one. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What would you guys do and why? This one right here, as you guys are going to see, I really don't like that. How about we can just put it like that? And what you guys are going to see right here is Jericho Sims and Cameron Payne package for Duop Sharpe. Now, I know some of you are going to be thinking, why would anybody be interested in Duop Sharpe? Personally, I think in this deal where you get a protected second round pick and Jericho Sims expiring contract, it could be a reclamation project. But for Sharpe, it offers he's an expiring contract who's going to be a restricted free agent. Similar situation to Precious Achiuwa last year when they got him. And the Nets, who under Jordi Fernandez employ switch heavy defense, both Sims and Sharpe are going to be able to, I think, seamlessly integrate into each other's rotation, the Nets and the Knicks. And Sims being the athletic backup for Nick Claxton, that works well, while the Knicks, Sharpe's rebounding and rim protection aligns with their needs while keeping the trade cap compliant, as you can see. And Sharpe's this season's averaging like 7.5 points, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists in 17 games. His field goal percentage is down, but as a guy who's now in his 4th year, he's never really gotten a fair shot to try it out because he's been stuck behind Nick Claxton. But he's a high energy, good motor, physical big man who, for his career as a guy, is like averaging 7 for 7, would be like a double machine if given the opportunity. He's gotten better as an offensive rebounder. He's actually dishing the ball a bit more, and he's a really nimble guy for how big he is. And at 23, I think he's someone who really does have some potential and could be a really good, cheap backup for the Knicks. So I feel like this is a somewhat realistic deal that they could go after, as this Knicks squad is the 7th best team in terms of scoring points per game, 117, and they're 11th in rebounding. Their their 3-point percentage is 15th, but what they need to do is defensively and get some bench depth that can help them out, because obviously they're Jalen Brunson being that 25 and 7 guy, OG dropping 16 a night, 17 from Mikal Bridges, and then you have 14 from Josh Hart and 9 rebounds from him. So you need some help, because Deuce McBride, in Precious Achiuwa and Cam Payne and Ariel Huckporty, who I love Ariel, but if you can turn Cam Payne and Jericho Sims into something to help that defensive improvement, build up the bench to find some cost-effective players to maintain competitiveness and be able to use some cap flexibility, I think that would be the biggest thing that they could do. And I think getting a deal like this with Duop Sharpe would allow you to also, if it works out, you can re-sign him to a cheap deal next year. Now, if you don't like this and you want somebody who's already in a long-term deal, my next one is Duop Reath, and I actually like this one personally. I think this one's actually a lot more realistic than people would think, as he's a guy he's making actually, like, I think $50,000 less than Jericho Sims, so it actually works. And the other thing is that he has another year on his deal. And Reath's a high motor big who's still young in terms of like 28 years old. It's not like he has untapped potential, but like he's still young. He's not over 30. And the Knicks would gain some depth in the paint behind Precious Achua. And the thing is Reath shoots threes. So yeah, if you look at Reath's stats, he's averaging like 2.6 points, 1.1 rebounds. But between 2018 to 2023, he played for the Illawarra Hawks. He played for the Quindo Eagles in China. He played for Red Star in Serbia and FMP Soccer Bet as well in Serbia, averaging 12 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, about an assist a game, 1.3 blocks, and just under a steal, while shooting 37% from three and almost 50% from the field. 6'11". He's actually really agile. He's got a nice touch, and he was a guy who during the World Cup, he actually averaged 8.6 points on 81% from the field. So I think his size, rim protection ability, and outside shooting could really complement the Knicks rotation. And for Portland, they get, again, Jericho Sims, who can be a reclamation project if it works out. So, or just someone they move on from. Next up, this is the one that I think could be a dark horse, and the Pelicans aren't playing him even though they suck. So Carlo Matkovic for Jericho Sims in that protected second round pick. Matkovic is on a low cost deal through 2027, and he actually provides developmental upside. He's a guy who has a 40-inch vertical at 6'11" or 6'10". He fits what the Knicks need, and he could be a guy who could develop and it will allow them to move off of Precious Achua, while Sims, is just an expiring contract or a reclamation project and is an energy player for Willie Green. So I think Carlo Matkovic, who's from Bosnia Herzegovina, is a versatile, I think he's 24 now or 23, who really athletic. Again, 40-inch vertical. He could be a rim runner, lob threat. 10 rebounds per game right now in the G League and 62% from the field. He's really efficient around the basket. He's a good pick and roll rim running screen setter who can, again, be a lob threat. He's also a good weak side rim protector. He can play be a switch big. So yes, he has limited NBA experience, but again, you're trying to make lemonade out of lemons. So I think this is one that for the Knicks, this could be something that works out, and they also save a bunch of money because he's on like an incredibly cheap deal. Now, if you just want an expiring contract on a veteran, Alex Len technically, I guess, makes $5,000 less, and you're able to do this deal and be a cap difference of 4,825. Yes, it says that you'll be second apron hard cap. What they would do is they probably would just attach Campaign or somebody else in this deal and then convert one of their two ways that they have along the lines of either, as we said, if they felt comfortable that it was time, they would convert a Kevin McCullough. I know they also have, I think, Matt Ryan, who's on a two-way currently. So for them, they can easily just, Matt Ryan and Jacob Toppin. So let's say if they did trade Cameron Payne, they would just convert Matt Ryan. Tyler Kolek would get some playing time and maybe sign another two-way. But right here with this Alex Len one, they just get a veteran in Len. He kind of fits Tom Thibodeau style. Sims just gives some athleticism to a Kings team that's rolling right now. And Alex Len, when he plays, he gives good energy. He's not like the most smooth player, and he's really just a post-up low block scorer who's got a good hook shot. And he can, I guess, spot up from the corner sometimes. He has done that in the past. Average rebounder and, an okay defender. Really good backup big. So if you're into that, that's why kind of the order of the trades was the order of best trades. This is the worst trade I had. And yeah, I think Jericho Sims is going to thrive in a system that prioritizes athleticism, transition, offense and defense, energy. And for that, obviously, I think Brooklyn would be able to use him at multiple positions. Same thing with New Orleans, as they both kind of have like perimeter focused defense. and play more of an up-tempo style and like players who can get up and down the court fit quickly. That's something that Jordi Fernandez and Willie Green both like for the Nets and Pelicans, that they would maximize Sims' strengths in my opinion. But for the Knicks, I think out of everybody here, again, if you're wanting to just see what their roster would look like, it's the current situation is more so the fact that their team, as I'll shine the depth right here, and I didn't know this was a 12-minute video at this point, but you're welcome for the content. But you have a depth chart that looks like this. So wings, front court, I mean, I think Deuce is a good backup point guard. Landry Shamet and Matt Ryan are solid, but like a wing or Jericho Sims, you're not going to get much with him. I've already looked. There isn't really a contract you could trade for him that's less than him that's worth it. Really, the only one is as we've shown here. So take it for what it is. That's it. Goodbye.